Hey, welcome back, guys. Episode 5 of Snowfall's final season was executed in the spirit of sadness on one side and that cold dish of revenge served on the other. The latter side brought Franklin to the point of no return in his pursuit to regain all that he's lost, and the war now is truly on. I'm here to break it all down in typical Top 10 WTF fashion. Before we begin, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and bell notification to immediately receive these videos. Also, big thank you to all of my channel donors. If you'd like to be the next one, drop $1 on that Cash App for us. And lastly, a spoiler alert is now in effect for all things Snowfall. Here we go. WTF moment number 10, Home on the Range. In the immediate aftermath of the attack on Kane's place, him and Franklin lay low at one of his establishments. Furious with the potential danger his family could have been placed in by Saint's actions, he demands Franklin to come up with a solution to finally dispose of his treacherous extended family. Saint's initially at a loss until he views a woman on horseback in a black and white film. This sparks a scenario where Louis and Jerome would be open to harm, as the former enjoys horseback riding as depicted at the start of the season. WTF moment number 9, Why Stop Now? Following Leon's overthrow of Big D, he is visited by several members of his former gang and questioned about what's next given the vultures surrounding the projects, awaiting their chance to be up next in the drug game royalty line. Lee makes a public declaration of authority following this exchange, calling out any would-be opposers to his renewed position on the throne. This inspires nothing but sadness in the heart of his wife, likely reminiscing on the moments of peace once shared in their distant homeland before foolishly returning back to their proverbial Egypt, i.e. Forbidden Land, with certain consequences. Also, if Leon could go back to drug dealing so easily, what's stopping Wanda from going back to using? He set a dangerous precedent in the name of ego here, and things are heading towards a tragic conclusion for the both of them. WTF moment number 8, Mission Aborted. Gustavo meets with Teddy and confesses to being approached by Ruben at the bar in the previous episode. He also adds the mysterious KGB agent's deal into the fold, something that burdens Teddy's conscience even further. However, the thorough CIA man was already aware of the impromptu meeting, and also coming clean, just extended his alliance with Teddy, and days on Earth for that matter. Due to Ruben's interference though, Teddy moved the drugs from the original spot, which prompted Gustavo to secretly notify the DEA to cancel the planned raid. The loyal hand washes the treacherous one, and Gustavo lives another week. WTF moment number 7, Old Folks Hooky. Cassandra and Veronique make their way to Kansas City in round 2 of their plot against Teddy on Franklin's behalf. Infiltrating a senior citizen's home, Veronique distracts the administrators while her mother befriends an old man who turns out to be Teddy's father. Appealing to the old-timer in the spirit of flattery, she coerces him to take a brief detour away from what would be his final stop before the grave. Ironically, where they're headed is worse than the man could ever dream of. WTF moment number 6, An OG Demand. Dion confronts Jerome and Louis in the aftermath of his battle with Leon, which he lost. He demands that Jerome freezes Leon out, only to be rebuffed by an overly ambitious Louis. Wishing only to speak man to man, he quickly rebukes Jerome's disrespectful muse, and the two share a drink, Jerome attempting to modify D's ambition into something more than the drug game. However, Big D assures his aging counterpart that there's only one dinosaur at this bar and makes his exit as boldly as his entrance. This leaves Jerome in a saddened state, and he would search to find peace in the scenes to come, but to no avail. WTF moment number 5, Borrowed Time. Jerome takes a ride to the car lot owned by an old friend and associate. The man, formerly in the drug life and now evolved to a business owner/family man, apprehensively greets Jerome, capitulates to working on his car over a drink. However, Rome's underworld surveillance ramps up during his brief excursion into normalcy, prompting him to go for the Uzi in the trunk. Successfully deterred by his old friend from the violent endeavor, Jerome pays the man handsomely while a single tear drops from his eye in lamentation of the life he yearns for but can't fully grasp so long as he continues down the drug-driven path. WTF moment number 4, Cat and Mouse. Teddy pulls up on Ruben's spot with the assistance of Halfmeyer and searches for any clues he can use against his predator. While exploring his home, he discovers his hunter's affinity for manly magazines, if you catch my drift, and uncovers the truth of his sexuality. This may not mean much in present day, but this was a huge blow to a person in the 80s, as the AIDS virus was rampant and, right or wrong, deemed a homosexual sickness. This intel could be used to Ruben's detriment by a man as resourceful and evil as Teddy. However, by episode's end, that will be the least of his worries. WTF moment number 3. Here's Franklin. Towards the conclusion of a joyous day that would be Mac's last, Veronique shows up with an intense Franklin, dead set on getting back what's his no matter what the cost. He viciously looks over the forebear of his enemy and begins to put his first blow to Teddy's life in motion. WTF moment number 2. 2 inches later. Prior to leaving his residence, Ruben meticulously left his door open to a specific measure. Upon his return, he discovers that the door has been tampered with. This sets off an alarm within the KGB agent and signals to him that the war is officially on with Teddy. And WTF moment number 1, a dadly reminder. Once settled in, Franklin makes a call to Teddy from the Kansas City area code. Surprised to hear from his old ally, Teddy speaks with Saint in the vernacular of a child, assuring his now rival that ain't shit sweet. Franklin informs him that he's at his father's residence and promises surefire consequences if he doesn't have his paper back immediately. Teddy attempts to talk his former understudy off the ledge of no return, but in doing so, sealed his fate. Upon fumbling with Saint's paper for the last time, an enraged Franklin callously penetrated his father's neck with a blade, finally repaying that murderous favor that Teddy started by killing Alton in Costa Rica, or so we've been led to believe. This act cements the darkness in Franklin's cold soul and just began a series of events that there's no coming back from, whether he regains his finances or not. Some lingering thoughts before we end today's video. The title of episode 5 was Ebony and Ivory, and it's a double entendre in meaning. On the surface, it speaks to the relationship developed between Cassandra and Mac, both, as the song says, living together in perfect harmony. That song is metaphorical for racial union as personified by the black and white keys on the piano, creating special moments together. Such an understanding is what's depicted by the 2 elders in the episode. However, the dark turn of Ebony and Ivory is played out in the relationship between Teddy and Franklin. Just as keys on the piano played out of sync creates dark and unsavory tones, the history of blacks and whites contained dark overtures that were inspired by one group's atrocities against the other. Here, Franklin aims for revenge against his Ivory counterpart, Teddy, and the discord between them ends in disharmony, the exact opposite of what Cassandra and Mac found in their brief time together. Jerome's visit to the auto shop was bittersweet. On one end, he got to catch back up with an old friend and associate. On the other, however, the old friend was emotionally jarring for Jerome in 2 respects. One, he held up a mirror of what Jerome truly wanted his life to be, i.e., simple with no stress. And 2, the man really didn't want to be bothered with him, not because Jerome was no longer a good guy, but the business he continued to operate in presented a danger to him that he could no longer risk being a father of 3. It's a reality that hit Jerome all at once in the aftermath of Uzi Gate and led to his further depression later in the episode. To make it plain, Jerome wants out, even if it means death. It's the reason why he taunted Franklin in 601 to go through with shooting him. He doesn't wish to participate in the drug game any longer, and if we're being honest about it, he never did. That was and remains Louis' ambition, not his. And this guilt over the woman he loves, who almost lost her life, is the only reason he's pressed on this far. But rest assured, our beloved OG's time is coming to an end. And lastly, V's face after Franklin abruptly hung up the phone in the beginning was very telling. It infers that she may have good reason to entertain her mother's hypothetical exit strategy. As Franklin grows further consumed by revenge, he'll subsequently alienate everyone he loves in pursuit of it. This will inevitably cause an irreparable rift between him and his family. What's left of it anyway. And that'll do it for this one. What were your thoughts on the 5th episode of Snowfall's final season? Be sure to drop me your opinions in the comments below. As always, I thank you for watching today's video. If you liked today's video, go ahead and drop $1 on that Cash App for us, hit the like button, share it with your friends who are fans of Snowfall, and subscribe for more content such as this. This is Rudy P. Magic of Rudy P. Magic Beats, and have a blessed one until the next one. Peace, y'all.